Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. And today what I have for everyone is my full review of the iPhone 11. So I've been using this device for a good amount of time. I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and that's what I'm going to share with everyone today in this full review. So hopefully by the end of this video, you guys and gals know if this device is worth picking up. Now, y'all know I'm Mr. Super Clumsy, so we're going to record this whole video with this case on. If you would like to see what the iPhone 11 looks like without the case on, please check out the unboxing and first impressions, or check out the unboxing and first impressions of any of my case unboxings for any of my recommended cases for the iPhone 11s. But Mr. Super Clumsy needs the extra grip and the extra protection of the case, so I'm going to rock this video with the case on. Alright? We're still going to talk about the build quality and design though, as if there's no case on the device. Alright? But that being said, by the end of this video, hopefully you guys and gals know if this device is worth picking up. So let's not waste any time and let's jump straight in. So starting off here, the first thing I want to talk about with everyone is the overall build quality and design of the iPhone 11 itself. Now, build quality wise, this device is built out of glass and aluminum. You have glass on the front and glass on the back with an aluminum mid-frame. Alright? This is what I like to call a high quality device. And it shows. It's got a nice hefty weight to it, and it feels very substantial in the hands, and it has a very nice feel in the hands. Now, it is very slippery without a case because it has that aluminum mid-frame, which does translate to that aluminum sides, which has a nice polish to it. So the glass back with the aluminum sides makes it extremely slippery, so a case, in my opinion, is a must. But the overall build quality, in my opinion, is top notch. Okay? Talking about the overall design, it's pretty much a upgraded version of Apple's modern design. So they started this design with the iPhone 10, and generation after generation, they're making their slight tweaks. So with the iPhone 11 here, they tweaked in particular the camera layout, and they tweaked in particular some of the way of how it looks. Alright? Other than that, it's very, very similar to a modern iPhone. Right? You can see if I wake it up and I unlock it here, you can see it looks like a modern iPhone. If we swipe down, you can see we do have that nice little chin, alright, or a little forehead I should say, with a decent amount of bezels, right? But it's a gradual evolution of Apple's modern design, alright? So if you're coming from an iPhone 10, a 10R, anything like that, this is going to look very, very similar, but you're going to be able to notice key differences, alright, in terms of the overall design. That being said, I really do like this overall design as well. And again, I feel as though Apple has done a top-notch job. So in terms of the overall build quality and design, in my opinion, I would have to say it is top-notch. Alright? Next, now let's talk about, and let me share my opinions on this display. Once again, let me open it up for y'all. Now, I keep moving it out of the camera because the face unlock doesn't work too well because my camera is blocking my face right here. But talking about this display, up front, dead center here, we have a 6.1 inch IPS LCD display. This is what Apple likes to call their liquid retina display. But essentially, it's a really good, high quality IPS LCD display. Now, in particular, it does have a very strange resolution. Y'all know if you're coming from any other Apple device, Apple is very weird with their resolutions and their layouts. This one is no different. It has a resolution of 828 by 1792, giving it a screen density of 326 pixels per inch. In particular, it's a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio display. And as I showed you earlier, we do have that nice forehead, and we do have a decent amount of bezels. But in terms of the display, now that we got all the technical things out of the way, talking about using this display on the day-to-day, I have to say this is a really good display when it comes to day-to-day usage. Indoors, I tend to keep the brightness relatively low. Now I did crank it a little bit so the device looks a little bit better and easier to read on camera, but generally when I'm using the device indoors, I like to keep it right about here. And when I do go outdoors, I do have to crank it up to max brightness. Now, the reason why I do this is because if we go in here, you can see I've turned off the auto brightness, I've turned off the true tone, I've turned off the night shift. The only thing I have turned on here is the dark mode. So everything that I have to handle in terms of the display, I have to do it manually, because auto brightness is turned off, true tone is turned off, everything that automatically adjusts the display is turned off. So I have to handle the display's brightness manually. So again, outdoors I do have to max it out, but it is more than visible outdoors under max brightness. And then indoors, and when I'm not shooting video, I keep it like right about here. Now for purposes of this video, I'm going to crank it up a little bit to make sure it's nice and visible. But I just wanted to show y'all that. And in terms of the display, in terms of the day-to-day, it is a really good display, and I haven't had any issues. So once again, I have to say Apple has done a great job with their IPS LCD display. Okay? Alright, moving on now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the hardware, and then I'm going to talk about my overall experiences with the software on this device. So hardware first. Now in particular, when we talk about the RAM and the storage, this particular device does not have expandable memory, so you have to go with whatever storage you think you're going to use. Alright, so for the iPhone 11, it comes in a few different variants. All of the variants have 4 gigs of RAM, but you get 4 gigs of RAM and either 64, 128, or 256 gigs of onboard storage. Pricing may vary depending on the storage variant that you go with. Now this particular variant that you guys and gals see in the video is the 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig of onboard storage variant. So this is the baseline variant of the iPhone 11. Alright? Okay, talking about more hardware here, this bad boy is packing the Apple A13 Bionic flagship processor and their accompanying GPU. Alright? And all in all, I have to say in terms of the performance with this processor and this layout is phenomenal. Alright? Talking about more hardware, I already talked about the display, 6.1 inches. Talking about the cameras, we have a dual camera setup on the rear. We have a primary 12 megapixel and an ultra wide 12 megapixel camera. And then on the front, aside from the Face ID, we have another 12 megapixel camera. So in terms of the cameras, we have triple 12 megapixel cameras on this device. 1 on the front and then 2 on the rear. All 3 cameras, however, can record in up to 4K at 60 frames per second or do 1080p 240 frames per second slow motion. So really good stuff there as well. Alright? This device is fully waterproof at IP68. So you can fully submerge it in up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes and you should be okay. It does also support 18-watt charging with the lightning port, and it also supports wireless charging as well. Let me show y'all right here. So we got the wireless charger, and it does support wireless charging as well. Okay, just wanted to show y'all that. Didn't mean to bump the camera. My bad. Space that back out. All right, so that's what we got in terms of the hardware, and then we also have a stereo speaker setup. So we got one front firing speaker built into the receiver grill, and then we got one bottom firing speaker coming out of the bottom right here. Y'all are going to get a speaker demonstration a little bit later on in the video. And then along with that, we also got Apple's trademark mute slider, which is always readily accessible. So good stuff there indeed. And I do believe that essentially covers all of the hardware. Okay, now let me unlock it again. Jumping into the software aspects, this bad boy is pretty much running the latest publicly available version of iOS. With iOS, I think it's 15.6.1, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. So if we go into General and we go to Software Update right here, and it's going to tell me what we're running. So again, you can see we are running 15.6.1. That's the latest publicly available version of the iOS software. Now, this device can also run the latest beta as well. So you can run the iOS 16 beta as well if you want to sideload that. But if you want to stick with the publicly available software, it's running 15.6.1. And essentially, when we talk about the software and the overall performance, I have to say this device is phenomenal, and I haven't had any issues. No issues with the software, no issues with the memory management or anything like that. Okay? So in terms of the software and the fluidity and the memory management, it is top notch. Again, that's nothing new, because if you're coming from something like an iPhone 10 or iPhone XR, it's going to be just as fluid. Okay? Apple has pretty much ironed out how to get their devices to run fluidly no matter what. Okay? So in terms of the software performance, I would have to say it is top notch. In terms of the RAM management, I would also have to say it is top notch as well. Even with 4 gigs of RAM, you're not going to have any issues with RAM management, and the overall fluidity of the device is going to be top notch. Okay? Top notch indeed. So talking about the hardware and the software on the whole, it's top notch in terms of my overall experience. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Okay? Now let's keep it moving. Sound sample, then we're going to scrub through the video, check the overall performance, then I'm going to come back and let y'all know how I feel about the overall Wi-Fi performance, the speaker performance, and the speaker placement. So I hope y'all enjoy this next section of the video, and I'll be right back. So let me angle this up, and let's go ahead and push play. Enjoy. Let me scoot a little closer. So we get a nice sample here. Oh, a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, that should do it. Let's slide back. Alright, and let's check out the Wi-Fi performance. So let's scrub forward. Okay, so real quick Wi-Fi performance test, real quick speaker test as well. Now let me give y'all my overall opinions. Now, as y'all have seen, and as I can vouch for, the overall Wi-Fi performance on the iPhone 11 is top-notch, and I haven't had any issues. Now, talking about the overall speaker performance and getting into the overall speaker placement, in my opinion. Now, talking about the speaker performance, I'd have to say it is really good. It gets loud, it stays very crisp and clear throughout, but it is lacking a little bit in the bass department. And is it the loudest speakers that I've experienced? No. The king in terms of speakers and bass, that title is still going to the Moto G Power 2020. But for what these speakers are, they are really good. Now, talking about the placement, I'd have to say I am a fan of the front-firing speaker because it's very difficult to muffle with regular usage and handling device, but I am not a fan of the bottom-firing speaker because it is very easy to muffle. Like you see, if I'm holding it like this, it's very easy to accidentally muffle that. But I would have liked to have seen dual front-firing speakers, so maybe if Apple could have put one like this, maybe they could have put one in the vent down here, and we could add dual front-firing speakers. But for what the speakers are, they are really good. So although I'm not a fan of the placement, I do appreciate the fact that we get a stereo setup, even though they're not dual front-firing, and they do perform really, really good. Okay? So in terms of the Wi-Fi performance, it's top-notch. In terms of the speaker performance, it's really good. In terms of the speaker placement, it could be better. Definitely room for improvement there, but it is what it is. Okay, let's keep it moving now. Up next now, let's talk about the overall LTE and bands available on this device. All right, let me load it up for y'all. Let me unlock this. Now, talking about the LTE and bands available on this device, this particular iPhone 11 is a 4G LTE only device. Okay, so we don't get 5G on this one, but we do have all the bands for 4G LTE. Okay, so if I zoom in here, you can see in terms of the bands, we have all the bands for y'all to be good to go. So we got all the 4G LTE bands for every carrier here in the States, and we have all the 4G LTE bands for all the GSM carriers abroad. Here, let me just zoom out a little bit, and then let me pick this up and just hold it up to the camera and show y'all. So y'all see that? This is all the 4G LTE bands. Now, in particular, this particular device is running on Straight Talk Verizon, and it's locked to Straight Talk Verizon because I'm still making payments on it. But when everything is all said and done, this will be fully unlocked, and I should be able to put my AT&T SIM in it or put my Verizon SIM back in it, and it should be good to go. And it should have all the bands to support either of those carriers. So right now, it's a CDMA device because it's locked to Straight Talk Verizon. But when everything is all said and done and all the payments are made, it will be a globally unlocked device, meaning that it will be able to get used on CDMA and GSM carriers. But if your carrier support these bands, you should be good to go. Because I always support buying your devices unlocked, so the affiliate links you're going to see in the video description will be for the unlocked variant of this device. This way you could take it to any carrier that you want. But in terms of the overall bands and support, this is what we're looking at. So if your carrier supports these bands, you should be good to go. And in particular, our particular model is the A2111. That's the one for the US, Canada, Puerto Rico, and the US Virgin Islands. Okay, so that's the A111. All right. But all in all, that covers the bands. Now let's keep it moving. Okay. So up next now, let's talk about the overall Bluetooth and Bluetooth performance. Now, Bluetooth wise, this bad boy is packing a little bit of an older Bluetooth in Bluetooth 5.0, but the performance is phenomenal. And I haven't had any issues in terms of the overall Bluetooth. Let me show y'all real quick. Let me turn it back on. Turned it off by accident. But y'all can see, here's just a few of the devices that I've connected. So my Galaxy Buds, okay, my Sony Buds, all right, and then my Mi Band 4 Smart Band, okay. I use those devices regularly, day to day, and in terms of the Bluetooth performance, I haven't had any issues. Other than that, connecting up any other Bluetooth device, haven't had any issues. So the overall Bluetooth performance, although it's running older Bluetooth technology, it works phenomenally, and the Bluetooth performance, in my opinion, is top-notch. Top-notch indeed. Okay? Now, jumping over to the GPS performance, because you know your boy can't navigate his way out of a cardboard box without turn-by-turn navigation. So GPS performance is another important category to me. The overall GPS performance, or turn-by-turn navigation on the iPhone 11 is top-notch, okay? Whether I was using Google Maps or Apple Maps or taking advantage of anything that needed to use the onboard GPS module, it worked without issue, all right? So no issues with the overall GPS, top-notch performance out of the GPS module on the iPhone 11. So no issues there, okay? Now moving on, jumping into our next category, let's talk about overall call quality and overall speaker call quality on the iPhone 11. Now, I want to preface this category by saying overall call quality is very subjective because there's a lot of key factors that go into making sure you have the best overall call quality. Number one being your overall carrier and your carrier's coverage. And then number two being the overall quality of the hardware in your device. And again, my particular carrier for this device is Straight Talk Verizon. Now, I have had a very good experience overall with the call quality because Straight Talk Verizon, or Verizon in general, just like AT&T, is very good in my particular area here in Florida. So that being said, talking about the overall call quality through the onboard receiver, it has been really good. Not the loudest that I've experienced, but loud enough, but still very crisp and clear phone calls have been through the onboard receiver. Now, talking about the speaker phone calls, again, it's more of the same. Crisp and clear and loud enough. And I haven't had any issues. So the overall call quality and speaker call quality on the iPhone 11, in my opinion, is top-notch. Top-notch indeed. Now, moving on here, let me share my overall opinions and experiences talking about the cameras. Now, if you want a more in-depth look at the cameras, I've done a full dedicated camera video, including the photo and the video samples. I'm just going to reiterate my opinions from that video, but if you want to check it out, I'll leave a card thrown up somewhere in the video, but I'll definitely have everything linked up that you need to know down below in the video description. All right. Now, talking about the cameras, again, we got a dual camera setup on the rear, okay, 12 megapixels, and then we have a 12 megapixel secondary front-facing camera. That being said, when I judge the cameras, I do it based on three distinctive categories, okay? Point and shoot photo capture capabilities, point and shoot video capture capabilities, and overall audio capture capabilities. And I'm very proud to report that in all three of these categories, the iPhone 11 has done a top-notch job. When I'm capturing photos, or when I captured photos, it was very similar to capturing photos on a Pixel. It was very point and shoot, and 9 times out of 10, I was guaranteed to get the photo that I wanted. So overall photo capture capabilities was top notch, okay? Same thing can be said for the video. Overall video capture capability was top notch. It was very point and shoot, you know, take my phone out, hit record, and 9 times out of 10, I was guaranteed to get some very nice, very crisp video quality. And the same rules apply for the overall audio capture capabilities. This was very important to me because this device doesn't have any 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And I wasn't going to go out of my way to get high quality Bluetooth audio just to test one device. So the mics on the iPhone really had to be really good quality for audio capture capabilities, and I'm very happy to report that they did deliver. The audio captured out of this device was phenomenal. So much so that I had to do some reshoots because I caught some music in the background of some of my shots that I had to reshoot because I didn't want any copyright issues. So the overall camera experience that I've had with this device has been top notch, and I haven't had any issues. Okay. So moving on now, let's now talk about my overall gaming experience, or the experience that I've had with this device when it comes to gaming. Listen here. I am not a heavy gamer, but the games that I did throw at this device, it handled with ease. Okay? In particular, my favorite 2 games to play are Asphalt 9 and Call of Duty Mobile, and it handled those 2 games with ease. It was like light work. And I played those games extensively, and it did get a little warm around the back of the device, but the overall performance while gaming did not dip. So the overall performance while gaming on the iPhone 11 was phenomenal, and I had no issues. And some of y'all may say, but what about the notch cutting into the display while gaming? Now, I had no issues with that because, for instance, let's say Call of Duty Mobile, you can adjust your on-screen controls. So although the notch does cut into the display, it didn't take away from my overall gaming experience. And the 6.1-inch display is a nice screen size for gaming overall. So in terms of gaming, in my opinion, I would have to say, again, it was top-notch. Top-notch indeed. But then again, I'm not a gamer. But it did handle all the games that I threw at it with no problems. Alright? I'm more of a social media / multimedia person, and phone calls, text messages, that type of stuff. I don't really do a lot of gaming. But it is what it is. I did, however, do a separate dedicated gaming video, so please feel free to check that out. I'll throw up the card, and I'll link it down below in the video description. Check it out. Let me know what you think for yourself. Leave me some feedback. Always greatly appreciated. All right? But let's move on. Up next now, let's talk about the overall charge times and the overall battery life on this device. And this is a big one because y'all know I'm a stickler when it comes to battery life, and I'm a stickler when it comes to overall charge times. Now, in particular, I want y'all to know that in terms of the overall battery size in this device for the iPhone 11, it is rocking a 3110 milliamp hour battery. So decent sized battery, not too big, not too small. Okay. But talking about the overall battery life, I have to say the battery life on the iPhone 11 is really good. Now, I want y'all to keep this in mind. Okay. The results that I'm getting ready to talk about is from an extremely heavy user standpoint, okay? Your guys and gals results may vary, but when I talk about my particular results, it's coming from an extremely heavy user standpoint. Take a lot of phone calls. I do a lot of social media and promotions. I consume a lot of multimedia, whether it be YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, you name it, streaming music. I do a lot. Pretty much any and everything that I can do from my devices, I will do for my devices, including recording, editing, and publishing content for the YouTube channel. Okay, so I am a definition of a heavy user. Okay, keep that in mind. Your guys and gals results may vary. That being said, talking about the overall battery life, and let me show y'all some stats here while I talk about it. But talking about the overall battery life on the iPhone 11 has been really, really good. Now, it's laundry day, so I haven't been on my device too heavily. But in my time with the device, I would say my peak display times peaked out at about 10-ish hours of on-screen time. Yeah, 10 hours and a half, 10 hours and 46. And my lowest one, when I was pushing it heavily, was about 8 hours. So I would have to say, in terms of screen on time, I can average anywhere between 8 hours to about 10.5 hours of on-screen time. Okay? That being said, talking about regular usage, because you know, screen on time can only tell you so much. But talking about regular usage, y'all can see some of the regular usage right there. Okay? Talking about regular usage, however, I can easily make it through a day with my style of heavy usage. And I'm ending the day with about 10% left. Okay? And for reference, okay, I typically take the phone off the charger anywhere between 5 and 7:30 in the morning, and it typically goes back on the charger at about 10:30-ish at night. Okay, so I can easily make it through a full heavy day, which typically encompasses a lot of YouTube, a lot of camera, snapping samples, a lot of GPS navigation, depending on what I need to do for that particular day and where I need to go. But I'm easily able to make it through the day comfortably, make it back to the house, and I can easily do whatever I want to do back at the house and comfortably put it back on the charger at around 10% at about 10:30 at night. So I can easily make it through the day with my style of heavy usage. Now, for lighter days, let me show y'all a little bit lighter day, like yesterday. Didn't really do too much on my device yesterday, okay? It was a lighter day for me. I was testing a lot of other products, okay? But it was still pushing a lot of notifications, okay? But I easily made it through the day. And I had like, 40% left, okay? Easily made it to like a day and a half with light usage, all right? So depending on your style of usage, you should easily be able to make it through the day. Again, keep in mind, your results may vary depending on your style of usage. But at least for me, I'd have to say the battery life on the iPhone 11 is really good. Is it top notch? Is it phenomenal? No, but it is really good. Okay? It's not as good as the iPhone XR, but it's almost on par. Okay? The iPhone XR had phenomenal battery life. I don't know what type of black magic they did with that device, but it had phenomenal battery life. But the battery life on the iPhone 11 is still really good in my overall opinion. It made it past the 10-hour mark. That's a number that I really like to see. So really good overall battery life for me in my overall opinion. Okay? Now, moving on now, let's talk about the overall charge times. Now, one thing that I want to mention when we talk about charge times, charging wired through the reversible lightning port, you can only get up to 18 watts of wired charging speed, okay? So it's very similar to the type of charging speed that you can get on something like the Pixel 6a. 18 watts of wired charging, okay? Charging wirelessly, you can only charge up to 15 watts, okay? So it doesn't have the fastest charging in terms of charging wired via the lightning cable, and it doesn't have the fastest charging in terms of charging wirelessly via a wireless charging pad, okay? But it's okay. It definitely needs some improvement, but it's okay, okay? And the battery life more than supplements it, okay? So talking about the charge times, for me, I was easily able to charge up the device in about 2 to 2.5 hours using the lightning cable, okay? Charging wired, depending on the percentage that it was at when I put it on the charger. Now that is not good charging speeds, okay? And I use fast chargers all throughout my home. Even when I go out and I'm on the road, I have fast portable chargers. I have really high quality cables. 2 to 2.5 hours, no, Apple. That's not going to cut it. Now, as I said, it's supplemented because the battery life is really good. So although I'm spending a long time on the charger, I do get really good battery life to back it up. But in my opinion, the overall charging speeds do need to be faster. 2.5 hours? No. Try an hour, 10 minutes, an hour and a half at the most. So I would definitely like to see faster charging speeds, charging wired on the iPhone moving forward. Okay? Now, jumping over to wireless charging, it gets a little worse. So it bumps up from 2.5 hours to 5 hours to reach a full charge, charging wirelessly. And the device does get warm when you're using wireless charging. Okay? Wireless charging does generate a lot of heat, and there really is no place for that heat to go. So whereas it charges in about 2.5 hours wired, it's going to take up to 5 hours charging wirelessly. Keep in mind that depends on the percentage that you have it at when you put it on the charger. Okay? But roughly, that was about what I was getting. Okay? Now, typically when I do these tests, I have a bunch of screenshots and things to show y'all when we talk about charging times, and y'all can see all the screenshots and totals for yourself. But Apple doesn't give you that type of control, and there aren't really that many apps to give you those type of numbers on iOS. On Android, that's a different story. You got a variety of different apps that will tell you these things. On iOS, not so much, okay? But that goes over the charging. That goes over the overall battery life. In my opinion, the battery life is really good. The charging, however, definitely needs some work, okay? Now, moving on, let's get into the final part of this video. Let's talk pricing. Let me get into my final thoughts and making my overall recommendations. Now, as I said in the unboxing video, I actually picked this device up from straighttalk.com. My main carrier is Straight Talk Verizon Wireless, okay? And I picked this up from Straight Talk, and when everything is all said and done, I picked it up on a 2-year, 24-month payment program, right? When everything is all said and done, it's going to be fully globally unlocked, meaning I could take it to any carrier I want, and it's going to run me a grand total of $300 flat. Now, my current monthly payments are $16 and change, and that includes the taxes, okay? So that's how much I paid for it, and that's how much I continue to pay for it in terms of pricing. That being said, checking out the globally unlocked pricing, which is what I did and that I have pulled up off camera here, you can get this particular model of the iPhone 11. Again, keep in mind, this is the 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of onboard storage variant, the base model variant. You can get it ranging in price, globally unlocked, between $280 and $360. So the fact that I'm going to be able to get it for $300 when everything is all said and done, I'm more than okay with that. But at that price of either $280 or $360, depending on where you get it from, can I recommend that you guys and gals pick it up? Well, I would have to say yes. If you're in the market for a device and you want to try one of Apple's more modern devices and you really don't want to break the bank and you really camera centric or you want some really good battery life or overall smooth performance, you really can't go wrong with the iPhone 11 in my opinion. Okay? So can I recommend that y'all pick the iPhone 11 up here in late 2022 or early 2023, which is probably when I'm going to put this out? Can I recommend y'all pick it up? I would have to say yes. Yes, indeed. All right. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys and gals. Now, as always, if you enjoyed the video and or you found it helpful, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Also, if you guys and gals would like to see more content like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you click off the notification bell right next to it so you're guaranteed to get notified when I publish new videos. Also, to doubly make sure that you're guaranteed to get notified when I publish new videos, please feel free to follow me across all the social media platforms. I'll link up all my social medias down below because I do my best to publish my videos across all the social media platforms. So you are guaranteed to get notified when I publish new videos if you follow me across the social medias. I'll link that up down below in the video description as well. All right. If this video piqued your interest and you would like to know where you can get the recommended cases or the iPhone 11 itself for some really great prices, all the affiliated buy links will be available down below in the video description, along with all of my coverage on the iPhone 11, and that will include extended coverage. So even though this concludes the full review, if I need to do follow-up videos or anything like that, I'll be sure to link them down below in the video description of this full review. All right? So down below in the video description will truly be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. So if your interest is piqued, down below in the video description is where you need to go. And along with that, if you get confused, I did say it will contain affiliated links. And just like the name implies, those affiliated links mean I do get a small percentage of kickback when you guys and gals use them that I do put back into the channel so I can keep bringing you guys and gals content. And that's at no additional cost to you guys and gals. So those affiliated links, in my opinion, are like a win-win for everyone. So y'all get the best deal and I get a small percentage of kickback so I can keep funding the channel. All right? All right. This whole video here today has been recorded with the rear-facing primary 12 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy S10e. This was recorded in 720p at 30 FPS. We are using my Movo MA2010 omnidirectional microphone to record all the audio, and I do have my newer R Studio lights lighting up the whole scene here today. So we do got the professional studio lights lighting up this video. Okay? So please let me know what you think of the overall audio quality. Please let me know what you think of the overall lighting. Please let me know what you think of the overall video quality down below in the comments. Okay? As always, all feedback is greatly appreciated. Okay? Just remember to keep it respectful, please. All right? I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you guys and gals are staying safe out there, and I will catch everyone in the next video. We are out of here. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Okay? All right, man. I know I had one more video lined up for everyone, but I really do feel like it's break time. So I'm going to be taking a couple months off. And then when I come back, we're going to jump right into the full review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Because I have some inexpensive high-performance tablets that I want to take a look at and that I may potentially recommend for everyone. But I want to use the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 as a baseline benchmark device to compare the performance of all those other tablets to. So, although I said y'all was going to get the iPhone 11 review and the Tab S6 review back to back, unfortunately, y'all, I'm a little bit too burned out for that. So I'm going to take some time off, and then we're going to come back and jump into that tablet review. And also, I was able to find a really good iPad for a really great price, and we're going to take a look at that as well. Because how is it that I checked out all these iPhones, but I have yet to experience an iPad? Well, that's because iPads are insanely expensive. But I did find a really good modern iPad that I want to pick up and take a look at as well. So not only will the Tab S6 be the benchmark for tablet performance, but so too will the iPad that I pick up. I will bring you guys and gals videos on that, as we always do. But yeah, I'm burned out, y'all. It's definitely time to take some time off. That being said, before I get up out of here, I do want to thank everyone for checking out my videos, for liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving your feedback, sharing the videos. I really do appreciate it. You don't know how much. That type of stuff is what keeps me motivated to keep producing more videos. And the fact that we're so close to the goal for the channel, you guys and gals don't know how much I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. So thank you guys and gals so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and sharing your feedback down below in the comments. And as always, keeping it respectful, please. Because after all, we are adults. And I'm very happy to see that there are some adults out there that can share their opinions respectfully. All right? So I appreciate that so much. Again, I hope everyone is having a great day. I hope you guys and gals found this video helpful. Hope everyone is staying safe out there, because the world is a crazy place. And I hope everyone is having a good one. I will catch you guys and gals in the next one. For the final time, we are out of here. Have a good one. Peace, everyone.